and you've seen likes like the Netflix and the YouTube, okay, doing a lot of recommendation using these predictive use cases, also fraud detection, and also you have the behavioral clustering, the product-based clustering, and then the brand-based form of clustering. So those are the examples or the way of, that predictive use cases can be classified. So the next one, I don't know if you can see the slide properly. It goes in detail, right, about what we do or what the organization does in terms of different use cases. So you have for the sales, you have marketing, and I think I've touched points on all these. So these are various forms of use cases that can be done by category. Okay, so for marketing, where I belong, I'm also repeating it: customer profitability. I should be able to identify if this customer is profitable or not. Okay, for the business. So if you are profitable, I tend to give you maybe aggressive offers that can stretch you more. Maybe the less profitable customers, we tend to give them less, form of offers, right? You have the customer lifetime value. You can do your loyalty program, right, from there. So you have your cross-sell, customer churn, also web traffic optimization. Okay, so we have like a website too. So we have use cases like this that also tracks the web traffic optimization, brand health attributes, and marketing campaign effectiveness. Across for other streams, so looking at HR, for example, there are other use cases such as salary planning for staff, right? Incentive plan effectiveness, right? Training, okay. And what are the benefits, employees and benefits? You also have other use cases under recruitment. Who should I even recruit, right? Based on the past set of people that have been interviewed for some certain roles, okay? And based on what they are doing for the company, right? Can it predict the next set of people that I'll be looking for in the market? Okay, so that's another form of use case that can be used with predictive analytics, and we have a whole lot. And these use cases are generic, so it's not as if it's really looking at MTN in specific. It's generic, and a lot of problems can come in, and at the end of the day, you see that you are kind of like solving all these issues with predictive analytics. So after this, I will just take you through maybe like about 3 or 4 examples. Okay, so so for CVM, one of our strong KPI is we need to reduce churn. Okay, so we have a churn propensity model, a very aggressive one that even looks at dormancy first. It triggers the moment the customer stop using, okay, because we have a gap period, okay, in telecoms. So in telecoms, for me to call you as a customer, that means you must have done an event with me in the last 3 months or 90 days, at least once. Okay, now within those 90 days, obviously there will be days that you would have done a particular event, and there will be a particular day that you will stop using. So immediately, as for us in CVM, we track that attribute. Okay, immediately I've seen that this customer has stopped using. Okay, then I need to start calculating the gap period. So if that gap period from that day that the customer has stopped using goes to 90 days, and the customer did not return, right? I see this customer has a churned customer, okay? And there are a lot of data that was used to build that model, okay? And this is a particular strong use case that we use in MTN, all right? And as CVM2, we try to create multiple segments, multiple micro segments, giving them different offer and the optimized offers for them, just for us to make sure that we reduce this reduction, because we don't want to wait until 90 days for the customer to churn. So the essence of the predictive model here is, at the point while the customer is still active, the model has been able to flag that this customer has high propensity to churn. So at that particular point in time, we start the treatment for the customer, okay? And then we make sure that the customer does not churn, and then we increase the life cycle of the customer for the business. So a churn propensity use case is a very strong use case that any telecoms, right, any telecoms firm is definitely using, and we use this in MTN too. So I've talked about targeted marketing too, where we cross-sell, we upsell, we do some form of clustering here. Now we know who the high value are, who the low value guys are. We give them some discounted offers just for us to achieve, or to see if it's going to increase the customer's revenue at the end of the day. So we use this for a lot of our strategy for the business, right? And it could also see that we also infer other propensity models, right, for us to create this targeted form of marketing use case. Okay, so this is also an example that we use for the business. Then lastly, I want to talk about A/B testing, okay, and what we do generally for CVM, because we don't just throw out campaigns, okay. So we conduct multiple experiments every month, various forms of experiments, a lot that we do, even with the offer allocation that we give. So we have the control group, and we also have the test group. Okay, so for the test guys, these are the guys that would give the particular offer, right? The control group, we won't touch them at all. We just allow them to continue that same behavior, right? And at the end of the day, we tend to look for the best performance. So if that campaign or pilot is okay, definitely we'll now upscale it to the overall base for engagement. So I think basically that's all. I don't want to go into the technical details. I'm very sure that Octave Analytics is taking you through all the technical details that I've made mention of, right? I want to believe that your program would definitely cover that. Like what we know, machine learning is, or artificial intelligence is the next phase, right? If you should look at Glassdoor, Subri, or LinkedIn, right, you see that a data scientist in the US is getting paid between $100,000 per annum. So the sky is our limit, okay? And the good thing about this is it's a lifelong career, right? Something that, as long as you are healthy enough to do, you can do it to your 70s, right, or to your 60s, okay? And new things are coming up on board. We need to understand that, and a whole lot of techniques too will definitely be optimized, would definitely be would definitely evolve. And the only one of the things I even say to my team and even to myself, right, is to make sure that we are at par, right, with the current trends. Okay, for me, right, even though I have a lot of experience based on what I've seen or what I've done for MTN, okay, I'm still in that learning phase. I really want to make myself better too, okay, and a lot of things needs to be done. So once you have the right opportunity. I will tell you that, okay, right from now, just make sure that you know your onions, you prepare yourself, make sure you read a lot, right? And then the sky is our limit. So I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you
So if you
so
have
much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir, Mr. Wulabi. That was a very well packed session, and we are just so, I mean, it's like a huge downpour in our hearts with what you have dished out for us today, and we really, really want to thank you. And I can tell that everyone who have been part of this program have also gained a lot. So, sir, we just want to say a big thank you. This is something that a lot of people pay for. And that we got this, and we know we sent you this invitation very, I think a couple of days back, and we want to just thank you that you prepared for us and you had so much to offer us. Before we go, just quickly go into our questions and answer segment. Just want to just quickly do a recap. It's very important that as data scientists, as data engineers, and data analysts, that we have various hypotheses, as Mr. Olulabi has said, and look at the problem from different dimensions. That is also very important. And something that actually resonated with me is that as a data scientist, you have to have domain knowledge. He read chemical engineering, and I mean, he has soaked in so much knowledge as regards to the telecom industry. So wherever you find yourself, please try and understand so much about your industry so that you'll be able to come up with wonderful and awesome solutions that will solve a particular problem in that industry. I know because of time, and I know a lot of people are bursting with questions, so now I would just want to give room for questions. If you have any questions, please signify by a raise of your hands, and if you can also type your questions in the comment section, and we'll read out your questions. We know Mr. Wolabi is ready to answer some of the questions that you have. So the floor is open for questions. If you have any questions, you can just signify by raise of your hands, please. Hello? Hello?
hello, yeah, we can hear you. Does anyone have any question to ask? You can ask me any form of question. Anyone.
Oh, okay. At the point
Ask,
that I felt I was scared that I
regarding
was talking to myself.
analytics, please. Yeah.
Okay, please, questions. Or is it that everyone understood everything? Is it like, okay, Ebube, I can see your hands up. You can ask your question.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ulabi, for the session. It was quite an insightful one. I just was wondering because we are in this program, we have two fields where we are enrolled in. We have the data science, the data analyst guys, and then data engineering. I really want to understand what exactly differentiates the two in a business like this that's actually mentioned. While you were explaining, you talked about the process for a project, talked about starting from business understanding, then data understanding, data preparation, and then modeling, evaluation, and deployment. Along the line, you talked about in modeling having to do with Python and R, and you mentioned SAS that you use at MTN. So I want to know what areas in this project process involve data engineering and what areas exactly is for data analysts in essence. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Ebube. That's a nice question. Okay. So, okay. So the good thing is, you can be a data engineer and also be a data scientist. Okay, but there are clear difference. Okay, and I will use MTN as a benchmark for that. So our core data engineers, right? They work with the IT guys. Okay, while data analysts or data scientists work across all domains. Okay, right? So those are the two major difference because for a data engineer, what it means is you see there are a lot of systems and that a company would definitely have. Okay, uh, so for MTN, okay, we have multiple number of systems. So there's a system that tracks the call data record. Okay, on every second. There's another system that tracks event data records, right? Now, there's another system that tracks customers' information from maybe from a SIM registration perspective. If you should go to our outlets, right, or partners or our shops, right, you customers visiting those places to give some certain form of information. There's systems that are tracking all those records. Now, all these records, they all come together, right, into a repository called data lake, right? Now, the gathering of information across all these systems, or all these, you extracting data from all these systems, aggregating it together, bringing everything together into the data warehouse or a data lake is the real core function of a data engineer. Okay. And a data engineer can also become a data scientist, right? If he has the opportunity. But a real data engineer guy stops by him collecting all this data from multiple systems, aggregating it, creating in form of reports, okay, on the data lake itself, right? It manages the data lake end to end, okay, across all the systems. Now, while a data scientist is more like a business domain guy, right, who has knowledge, right, for merging data sets, okay, unlocking insights, okay, from the data sets, okay, and giving recommendation based on the activity, whether it's a model that has been built or whether it's a form of any form of analysis, getting that insight out, okay, that would lead to actionable events for the business. So that's who a data scientist or a data analyst. I try to use both words, but there's a difference between a data scientist and a data analyst because for a data scientist, you know everything, right? Right from you doing your analysis, using the machine learning algorithms, right? Profiling solution. Data analyst work stops at the point of, okay, I've gotten the answer to this problem. Okay, a data analyst might not be able to know more about models, you building models, but would be able to do well more in the descriptive analytics and in the diagnostic form of analytics. While a data scientist takes it to that next level of predictive and also prescriptive, based on my explanation. So that's just the major difference. So data engineer is someone who does the whole itself, gathers data, fetch it into the database. Also, a data engineer too fetches from the output of a data scientist because they create the machine learning pipeline, right? They manage the machine learning pipeline end to end. So they would know um, um, everything regarding Python and everything too. But all what they do is they manage that pipeline. They make sure that the pipeline is okay, is well optimized, and when they are running the algorithm, the automation, they make the automation seamless. That's also the work of a data engineer. So I don't know if that explains your question.
Yeah, I think that explains it. Good with that. But just one more thing. What exactly is data mining? As a term.
Okay, so data mining. So you see, all these words are all buzzwords that are moving around, but the real essence of, or high level, the way I can explain data mining is, right? You have historical data sets, and you are trying to get out the relationship, right? You want to understand the relationship between the variables, okay? And there are a lot of mathematical and statistical methodology that you might need to use, okay, to understand the data better. So data mining is more of you trying to unlock or get that insights in terms of you looking at two or more multiple variables, right? And using historical data sets for you to prepare your predictive modeling, right? So it's sitting around the data preparation stage.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Wula.
Yeah.
I think I'm fine.
Thank you. Thank you. So do we have more questions? Hello, everyone. Do we have any more questions? Anybody that would love to ask? Please ask now. If you also need clarifications, now is a wonderful time to do that as well. And of course, there are no silly questions, so don't be shy. We're all here to learn. So yeah, the floor is open. Okay, so I'm guessing that everyone really soaked everything in today's session. And okay, so that being said, I think we should just end today's session and we'll just call it a day. We've really soaked in a lot of wonderful information, and the idea is for you guys who would eventually work in the telecom industry, you have been taught today about some wonderful models that you can use and that you can apply in that industry. Mr. Owolabi, again, I believe we can connect with you on the various social media platforms. Do you want to ask a question, Richard Olayonju? I can see that.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. The
I'm
floor
actually
is
on mobile.
yours.
So, okay, I'm actually on mobile, so I've not with my hand. That was why.
Oh, okay, no problem. You can
Okay,
ask.
thank you for the. Okay, next time. Thank you, Mr. Daniel, for the lecture. It was quite successful.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned about domain knowledge. Like, you have to have domain knowledge in our industry. I remember back in the days, there was a time I went for an interview in Jumia. I could not get the job. And when I asked for the feedback from the HR, he told me I have the skill, but I don't have the domain knowledge of the e-commerce industry. And on the part of one of the reasons they are building industry experts is also to get domain knowledge. So in the telecoms industry, if you want to build more domain knowledge apart from this lecture, how can we go about it? Maybe is there a newsletter I can subscribe to or any other thing for us to build that domain knowledge while on the program?
Okay. So okay. I'm surprised why Jubia told you that you don't have, or do you have years of experience previously?
The role is for 3 years, but I have the skill, but I have the domain knowledge. That's what they told me.
Domain knowledge. Okay. So I will advise, right, because we don't know where the opportunity to might unlock in the nearest future. So maybe when we are going for interviews, right, we should not rely only on our skill sets. We should try and do some investigation, okay, regarding what the company is doing. Okay, so for example, now I work in telecoms. Okay, the banking industry is there. You have the FMCG guys. Okay, I don't think I have the domain knowledge for someone who is working in the bank. But if I have an interview, maybe for example, maybe in a Stanbic IBTC bank or a Guaranteed Trust bank, and I want to move. Now, I have the skill set in terms of analytics and everything, but I still need to learn what the bank domain, what they do majorly. So if you, for example, if you should ask me what is the critical use case that they'll be using in the bank, so I can relate that to the credit that they are given. Okay, they borrow people loans and everything, so that's a use case on its own. So for them to, if somebody should ask me any typical question that can come in from there, so it's the ability to detect if this customer is viable for this loan or not. Okay, and then I can now relate based on uh, my skill set or my experience, how I can treat that. And I would definitely advise that you can easily go to their websites, see what they do. Okay, uh, read a lot of maybe use cases online. Okay, Jumia belongs to the e-commerce industry. Obviously, there will be some form of standard or framework that they will be using. So the same thing also applies to MTN or any telecommunication firm. You as an external party that really wants to work with that firm, you should be able to understand the services that the telecom firms are providing, right? You need to sit down, create, like I said, hypotheses around what they are doing. Okay, definitely you have a sim. You know that every day you make a call. Okay, you know that you yourself understand your behavior, right? And I'm very sure with your skill sets and you understanding a little bit, because nobody would really specifically at an interview phase or stage rather to ask you deep domain questions. Okay, but superficially they will definitely ask you, would like to know what you really know about their company. So I would tell you that maybe prior to the next interview phase or everything or anything, maybe in any industry, if you want to go to an FMCG, for example, Nigerian Breweries or Guinness, for example, you know what Guinness is all about. You know what they do. You should be able to Google, okay, what is the Guinness form of maybe framework and everything, yeah, business framework and everything. Definitely, you know that they have retailers, they have middlemen, they have wholesale distributors. You should be able to understand the supply chain and everything, right? But I don't know maybe what particular area, but it would definitely help you for you to do your research properly, especially right from the time that you've submitted your CV, because definitely you saw the job vacancy, right? And immediately they tell you that your application, that they've accepted it and they'll be willing to call you for the next phase. Start your preparation from there. Try to understand superficially, high level, what they do, okay? And you should be able to relate your skill sets to that particular understanding of what they do. I think that would help you. So for telecoms, right? Obviously, you have MTN's website. You can look at all our products and services that we do via our website. There are a lot of telecom journals that are online, okay, that you can read. A lot of journals or or blogs, okay, that would even explain all these things for you in a proper way. Okay, so you can Google. The internet is your best friend there. Okay, do your research clearly, and then from there you'll be surprised that at the end of the day you will be able to give some form of response, right? If anybody is asking you questions. So the likes of Jumia, right? You have a whole lot of competition. Amazon is an example of what Jumia is doing. Okay, and even though Amazon has a lot of different form of arms, you have the likes of Alibaba, okay, and you have a lot of other blogs too. So definitely you would have seen what they've done, and you can even type maybe use cases across all these industries to give you a better idea of what they do. So that's the way I can advise you. Uh,
Okay, thank you
who
so
has
much,
the
sir.
question? Okay, Richard, right?
Yes.
Try and do your research work properly, and obviously just pray to God, and and I'm very sure things will fall in place.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Richard, for that wonderful question. And please just take heed as to everything he has said. And that's one of the reasons why we're putting together this session, so that you guys can learn from industry experts and just understand some of the things that are being done in that industry. And so you can learn from that, prepare yourself, and just get that the next best job that is out there. So I just want to give room. Hopefully, I'm thinking maybe someone has actually had time to think of a question. I know we have 90 more minutes. So the floor is open for about 30 seconds. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask them right now. And yeah, so I'll just open up and let's see. Do we have any more questions? Any more hands up? Okay. So that being said, I think we can just end today's session on this wonderful note, and we want to so thank our speaker, Mr. Daniel Owolabi. As I made mention of earlier, we did not give him a lot of time, but he came in with a bang, and he's definitely leaving with a bang. And it's also, I was thinking about it. You are our first industry use case expert here at our Octave Analytics graduate training program. So it will go down in history in the next probably
Thank
10,
you.
15, 20, 30 years. I feel like we should give you a plaque or something, but nevertheless, thank you so much, sir. I'm just so excited. You came in swinging. That's just it. Thank you so much. We are so happy. And you guys can always, I'm hoping we can connect with you on your LinkedIn. I don't know. Maybe we could just drop a thing or two there. Maybe we could just
All
make a
right, no
connection
problem.
with you. Thank you so much. So you guys, yes, he has given us that permission. You can go on his LinkedIn and just connect with him, and just try to keep up what is going on in the industry. And as you can tell, he was just a very wonderful guest today. So thank you so much. I think everyone should, all can unmute your mics and just say thank you to him. I don't know, except you guys are shy, but let's just say thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, everybody's saying thank
So,
you. Thank you so much,
so,
sir.
Thank you
So,
very much.
yeah, thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you so much.
I would like to also advise you guys, right? Because I know that you guys are looking more into machine learning. You really want to become a full-fledged data scientist. I'm also planning to also become a full stack data scientist, even though I still have that form of experience too. So, like I said, it's a lifelong process, and you have blogs such as Medium, okay, that you can medium.com, right? They have a whole lot of articles, right, that you can visit, right, and you go through the toward data science. That's the category, right? You also have towards AI on that platform too. So make sure there are a lot of articles that you can read. I would like to also advise you that if you have any form of, I know that you guys will be undergoing a lot of training during this your phase, but there are other platforms such as cargo.com too, right, that can also help you, okay, to work on a lot of different forms of data sets across different business domains. Okay, so I'd like you to make use of that website too. Okay, so medium.com, cargo.com. Although cargo is not really about competition, there's a particular area whereby you can follow the detailed instructions, okay, on that platform. So those are the two websites. You guys can connect with me on LinkedIn, okay, and then we can, if you have any form of questions to ask, I would definitely respond, okay, via that particular site. So Medium
Thank
and also Cargo, and all these are free platforms that you can enable your interest more. Data science is nice, especially see the joy there is when you do a task, right, and you unlock the insight and you see your business leaders making use of that insight and you are seeing the return on investment, you would have that joy at the end of the day that you've done a very good thing. So I really want you guys to make sure that you get there. Like I said, I also started as a graduate intern. I recall that I did chemical engineering where we learned a whole lot about, spent a number of days in the laboratory. I'm not using that to work as I speak. Or even though within the chemical engineering leg, there were lots of mathematics and statistical courses that I had to take, even programming at some point that I had to take. Okay. So, but at the end of the day, I'm in another field and I started as a graduate intern too. Okay, I don't think I knew how to write SQL before I left my university. Okay, well, right now I've written tons of complex forms of queries, and that has generated a lot of insights for the business. Okay, so I really want you guys to focus. The sky is your limit. Once you have an opportunity, like I said, make sure that you do your findings and everything properly, right? And right, fine, the grace of God too will be there, okay? Have that faith too. And at the same time, just make sure that you work on yourself a lot so that when the opportunity comes, you nail it on board. All right. So that's just the advice I have. Thanks so much for your for your time. And that's all from my end. Thanks so much. Let me talk about thanks.
Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah.
Olulabi. And everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. As he said, learning is a continuous thing. So please let's learn and learn and learn. And of course, the sky is the limit, as Mr. Olulabi has said. So on this note, we'll end today's session. Thank you, everyone. And you have a wonderful time. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.